Okay, here's a little walkthrough on how to get MML into Otherside, what an MML is, and how to make them. Here's an example of an MML that I made. This is my beast. So because the beasts don't have MMLs in their metadata, I had to mint my own. But I also had to optimize the beast, and I had to convert the rigging from a VRM, which I already had existing, into a Unreal Engine rigging avatar. I'll include the links to these sites that I'm showing you in the description of the video. This shows step-by-step how to rig your armature for Unreal Engine. This part is a pain in the ass, but it can be done. This is where you would go once your rigging is done to test it, and also according to this tutorial, you have to export it from here with certain rotations to make it work correctly. Again, kind of confusing, kind of a pain in the ass, but the only way to get it done from scratch. And then in here is where you would test the avatar. So I have my other beast, which I hadn't set up yet. I'll set that up today. I'll drag the GLB that I converted in here. I see it's rigged. The bones are very strange looking. I want to show you the bones in Blender, but first, in order to make sure that this works correctly, it should look like this. T-pose with the bones, and the same over here. And here is where you can test an animation, and if it's running right, if it looks right. This is a great way to check if your Unreal Engine GLB is working correctly. Once I know that's working correctly, and I made the MML file, which I'll go into detail in a bit, this is where you test the MML. So let's find my MML, click on the profile, paste in the MML, set it. Takes a second to come in, and there's my beast, and I can run around and check it and make sure I'm happy with it. This site is a little slow and laggy, but that doesn't matter. All that matters is does your beast walk the way you want it to walk and all that jazz. And so if all looks good there, then you can start submitting to OP. Let's talk about what an MML is. So here I have this beast that I made. If I go into blockchain details and I click the token ID, I get this pop-up of the metadata. And in the metadata, you see I have my MML listed here. I put my MML on Arweave. I put my GLB on Arweave. You see what's happening is the metadata is calling this MML link right here. If I copy and paste that into a new window and load it up, I just get this little bit of code. It's almost like HTML code. And this is the code that's required to load the avatar on platforms like Otherside. This is raw data. So what I've learned is that when you upload this to your server, it needs to be raw data. Otherwise, it'll create an error. Let me see if I can show an error. This is an example of a MML file that was not uploaded as raw data. It just shows kind of the file type, and this won't work because we need it to show actual code to load the GLB. So you have to make sure you upload it as raw data. I use Arweave because I believe in the blockchain. The weird thing with Arweave is when you upload to this server, it is not raw data, but I've been able to set it up through Cursor AI, and I just tell Cursor AI to upload it to my Arweave account as raw data, and it does it for me. I've never been able to figure out how to do it myself, so that's that. What I like about Arweave is it's permanent. IPFS, Interplanetary File System, is not 100% permanent like we all thought originally back in 2021. Arweave is the one that's permanent. So I could die, like stop paying for internet service, and this will forever exist without me having to keep it alive. The challenge though is that every time you upload something, you pay a little bit. I think it's like maybe 10 cents for an avatar, for example. So I'll have like my GLB here. This is 2 megabytes. Maybe that's like 10 cents. This might be like less than a penny, but you have to pay every time you upload. The disadvantage with that is once you make the MML, you need to be certain that the GLB works exactly how you want it to work, because you can't change it, you can't edit it. So it's like a one-time thing. If you need to change it, you need to make a whole new MML, whole new GLB with the newer version, and then put that into the metadata. So that's what I use, Arweave, for MML. MML is just a text file. I make it with text edit. It's just a simple text file that I upload as raw data to a server. Alternatively, now some people use their website as a server. Some people use Google API. Some people use Amazon AWS. You can do all those things. To me, that's Web 2, so I don't like it. But the advantage of those, like your website, for example, is you can overwrite the GLB file with the same name and essentially update the avatar without having to upload again. Here's an example of a Junkies. When I click on the token ID, get all the metadata. Here's the MML. You see this one's on Google APIs. That's how they chose to store their MMLs. Black Mirror. Black Mirror is adapting the M² style of avatars. Their MMLs are here on their website. They put it on their website. OPxyz, collaboration between Yuga Labs and Amazon, was put on Yuga's website, mml.yuga.com/boximus/boximsmml. So here's my working MML with the beast. If I paste that in here, we get the code that loads the GLB. The GLB also I uploaded to Arweave. This again can be put on any website or on an Amazon AWS server. In the case of Kid Called Beast, I would imagine that works best on the Kid Called Beast website. But this is the avatar rigged for Unreal Engine, ready to go. The website looks for the MML, finds it, that loads the avatar into the platform. Why do they do it like this? I believe that this container, this MML file, you can add different GLBs into it, different traits. You can mix and match wearables this way. So you can literally change the shoes, change the backpack, or whatever of a certain avatar. All right, so that's MML. So I also made a bunch of avatars on base. These are my base and Ethereum with the hopes of getting them approved by the Otherside team. Like 5 months ago I made these, I think. Let's see, activity, 4 months ago. 4 months ago I made these, and I'm still waiting for these to get approved. They're literally dangling a carrot in front of my face, giving me the runaround. They tell me it should be done this week, and they said that like 5 times, and I just sit here and I continue waiting. I personally believe I'm waiting for approval because I'm just an independent creator. I don't have a big, gigantic 10K collection, and I think they're prioritizing the 10K collections. But I'm going to take the MML that I built on this guy, and I'm going to put it on Otherside. On OpenPage, which is this really awesome site that's building kind of like a middle ground area for metaverse platforms, interoperability. They have badges that you can collect and do all sorts of crazy stuff, create wearables and avatars and just like tons of crazy stuff. It's a great site. They have a backdoor. So they already have a contract set up with Otherside, and you can basically mint avatars using OPxyz. And this is how you would do it. When you set up an OP account, you're able to mint an avatar like this one. I have 3 of them. You can also buy them on the floor for like nothing practically. Like this is 65 cents, You only need one. You only need one of these. You should be able to mint it for free when you open up an account. I'll go in there and I'll click on my communities. I'm going to go to my personal community that I made. And you'll see here are the avatars that I made on OpenPage. There's also wearables that I made here. But this is what we're focusing on. I'm going to create an avatar. So in order to do that, I go to Create, Mintable, Avatar, Next. It's going to be the Rustan Beast. Using my IP from a kid called Beast. I'm gonna make it legendary because baby's a legend. I have my thumbnail. Here's where you paste the MML that you added. So let's find my MML right here. This is my MML for that beast on Arweave. Go back, paste that there. Next, I'm gonna put this on ape. Oh, let's do this one on base. I'm gonna try this one on base. Oh, no, I gotta do ape because that's where my collection is. You have to make a collection. You have to create a collection. So I have it on ape chain right now. So I'm gonna leave that on ape chain. I'm gonna token gate this one so that nobody mints it before I do. I created a badge. 0, it's gonna be free. Next. Now it's going to ask which badge I want to do. I made a Hyper 5 badge that only 4 people collected, so only 4 people will be able to mint this. They're not going to do it before me, most likely. Next. Now, 8:31 a.m. Max supply 1. I just want to make one of these for me. This is my beast. And next. And there's the mint setup and publish. View mintable page. Mint it before anybody else does. You can select which chain you want to pay with, which is pretty cool. Confirm. Mint successful, and bam, I have minted my beast avatar. Now, currently, to get this to work in Otherside, now we go to our avatars. This is where you have your OP avatar selected. Right now I have this beast set up as an avatar. Sometimes this glitches a lot in Chrome. Right now it's working, but if this doesn't work in Chrome, then Brave tends to work a little bit better. Right now it's working, so we're good to go. This should look like the default avatar. This should look like one of these, the avatar that you own, right? That you bought. That's like a default OP avatar. But again, clicking here, this is where you can change wearables and stuff if it's built to accept them. If I click here, I can find various NFTs that I can load. And so now I should be able to find my new avatar that I just minted right here. Boom. And there he is, ready to go. And so I'm going to save that. Make a little thumbnail capture. And I'm going to leave this open because you can actually change your avatar in here. Let's go into Otherside. Enter, start stream. Takes a second for this to load. So when I pop into world, I have my existing avatar set up. Click P to open other avatars, and I'm looking for that OP default avatar. I select that and it pops up the beast that I added to it. Now I can change that back in OP on this existing avatar, selecting like the robot. Let's select the robot and save that. Make a little PFP for it. And once that's saved, I go back into Otherside, press P again, select on avatar, and you have to switch it once and then switch it back to engage the newly selected avatar within the default. So now you'll see too that it doesn't index immediately. It doesn't show the robot, but it's actually there. So by equipping it, I can now pop open and see my robot being used. So OP acts kind of like an intermediary with all these cool things that they enable on the open page web page. I'm going to put it back to my new avatar that I just made. Save it. Save the profile picture. And then within Otherside, switch again and switch back, and it'll load the new avatar. And that's how you bring an MML file into Otherside. So one last thing here now. If you have all the MML links established for a whole collection, basically, if you're not going to do individuals like this, posted on a Kid Called Beast website maybe. If you were to implant those MMLs into the metadata of the existing beasts, then you don't need to do it this way. You just need to get approval by the Otherside crew. As long as that MML is in the metadata, you're good to go, and they just need to get that set up for you. Until that happens, this is the backdoor way to get MMLs into Otherside.